Welcome to Chamber Exchange. My name is Tim Murray, President and CEO of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber Exchange is an opportunity for us to bring on guests to talk about issues of economic development and job creation here in central Massachusetts. The show would not happen if it wasn't for our sponsors, Bank Hometown Bank, and we're going to talk a little bit about Bank Hometown in just a moment, as well as the Worcester Railers Hockey Club, who are closing out the season, playing some great hockey, making a run for the playoffs. So if you have not got a chance, get down to the DCU Center and watch the Railers play some great hockey in a family-friendly atmosphere. So Bank Hometown, thank you for helping make the show happen. We have Rob Morton, who is the President and CEO, and Mike Mahlert, who is the Executive Vice President and Senior Loan Officer. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. I really appreciate having us.
And thanks again for the show. But Bank Hometown, for our viewers who may not be familiar with it, maybe you could give a little background of the bank and the history.
Sure. So Bank Hometown originally originated in Webster as a Webster cooperative, and over the years grew and rebranded into Bank Hometown, headquartered in Oxford, but we have branches throughout Central Mass, North Central Mass, and 5 branches in Northeast Connecticut. And one of the things that why we're getting out in and about the community is that a lot of people just don't know what we're capable of. The way I like to describe it, it's kind of the best of both worlds. We have the brain power and the capacity to do larger, more complicated deals, but we still have the approachability and responsiveness of a community bank. So, our legal lending limit is up to $26 million. And we have this unique process where if we have a larger complex deal, the commercial loan officer puts together an executive summary, a fairly detailed executive summary, and we have the entire team from credit and lending get together. We go over the deal, we all agree to it, and so the lender then goes out there back to the customer with a term sheet that we have confidence that that's the deal that they're going to get. Mm-hmm. So we've already have the credit department already kind of chiming in and giving their contributions. So that's why we're able to turn around deals much quicker than I think maybe some of the larger institutions. Yeah.
So, but you mentioned kind of community bank, but a large footprint, a number of branches around, accessible, convenient, and you got the team out on the street. Mike, I'm sure that's a part of what you're doing out, looking to keeping your ear to the ground, looking to see where Bank Hometown can step in and help businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're out there, obviously talking to a lot of the large manufacturers or, service industry people, but we're also making sure that we're paying attention to our existing client base and some of the smaller clients, things of that nature. We have a unique process internally where we have a few individuals that run what we call the SBI department, and so we're able to turn around some of these smaller transactions. If a local contractor needs an excavator or something of that nature, it's a 24-hour period. It's in and out. They get their cash and they can move on, and it's not, not being delayed and whatnot. But as Rob said, for the larger, more complex deals, we're out there and we have that process internally, so that not only can they go out there and pitch back to their prospect or client something that is a good term sheet. It's when we say this is what it is, that's what it is, and they give a high level of confidence so that they can make their future decision for that business, because that's the most important thing for the client. If we're sitting in front of them, they want to make sure that we can get that job done for them to help them out. So. And
you used the acronym there, SBI, from Small Business?
Yeah, Small Business Initiative. It's really just a focus that we are making sure that that community bank, who we are, we're making sure that we're paying attention to those clients.
And that's important because a small business, as both of you know, and usually it's the owner and maybe 1 or 2 people, and they're the individual responsibility for delivering the good or service or product. They're probably maybe the CFO, the HR director. So time is important, and if they're spending oodles of time, kind of dealing with bank processes, it's time away from kind of the focus of the company.
Yeah, I mean those customers. I mean that's who made us, and we owe it back to them to be able to make sure that we're servicing their needs, and not forgetting about them. So we're really making a conscious effort so that we're not delaying processes. We're making it as fast, as easy as possible for these people, so they can do what they do best, which is run their business, and they are busy.
Where this all came from, what we like to do is we like to ask our employees, our staff, what can we do to be better? We're always asking, what can we do to be better? And these clients are very important to our branch network. So our branch managers, that customer is an extremely important customer to them, because not only are they helping with their business, but they probably have their personal accounts, probably have their mortgage, their kids have their accounts. So it's a big deal to them. And so, listening to our branch staff, we said, okay, how do we streamline this process? And Michael came up with a great process to make sure that, once we have all the information, it's 24 to 48 hour turnaround.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Rob. I mean, as you were mentioning, I was thinking, when you have your savings accounts, business accounts, et cetera, with a bank, it's a relationship, right? And you want someone to understand your end of it. Doesn't mean you're always going to get what you want, but that someone's going to at least listen and try to work with you and make decisions quickly. Well,
we try never to say no. We try to say under these conditions, right? So if someone is, sometimes people will come a little early, and they may only be in business for a year. Well, that's a little difficult to do. So we'll have some alternatives and say, but do this, and do that, and come back to us, and we'll look to help you. So, so we always try to give a solution to how to help people get to where they want to go.
And you both mentioned the term sheets, and so that would be more or less the agreement that you would reach with a client or someone you're working with. You have a business that you have a relationship or are going to establish a new relationship. That would be the amount you're borrowing, the term, the length of time, the amount of interest, the terms in which they could prepay, those types of things.
Covenants and things of that nature.
Yeah. So we're learning all the different aspects here. So, Rob, at the beginning we talked a little bit about the presence and the growth of Bank Hometown in the area, and recently another acquisition here in the Commonwealth.
Yeah. So the way we're organized is we're a mutual organization, and we have 3 distinct banks under that organization. Bank Hometown being in Central Mass, as I mentioned, in Northeast Connecticut. We have Bank ESB out in the the western part of the state, and then we have Abington Bank, which is basically primarily in the South Shore. We just announced that we are acquiring Vision Bank, which is the former Randolph Savings Bank, that will fit very nicely and perfectly within the Abington Bank. So we're basically taking a stock bank and bringing them back into the mutual organization, and so we're excited about that. That will bring us collectively to $4.4 billion, and what we understand is we're going to be the 10th largest mutual bank in the United States, which is pretty cool.
And that definition, mutual bank, is meaningful, and maybe you could just share with our viewers what a mutual bank does.
So basically, we don't have stockholders, right? And so we're committed to the mutual form. Whether it's the full mutual form or a hybrid, down the road, who knows? But we're committed to mutuality so that we can act in the best interests of our employees, our customers, and our community.
Right. So there isn't that necessarily obligation to return a dividend back to stockholders. It's about, yes, bank's got to make some money to be able to survive, but it's reinvesting back.
Well, I think the key thing is 10 years ago, 2011, there were 160 banks in Massachusetts. Today, there's a little over 100. So it's becoming increasingly harder for smaller institutions to absorb the cost of compliance, and especially technology. So I think finding strategic partnerships to make sure that you're relevant, and we've got a runway of decades, right? So the key thing is commitment to mutuality and maintaining control of our destiny.
Yeah. Mike, if people out there, as the executive VP and senior loan officer, if they want to get in touch, talk about how they might maybe do business with Bank Hometown, how do they reach you, and that information, let's get it out there.
Yeah, so I mean, our website obviously has all of our contact information. All of our loan officers are on there as well. So you just go to bankhometown.com and you can find your local lender. We have a great team of people, and we're extremely responsive. So when they reach out, we'll be in contact that day.
Great. Well, as spring is here, and then the Worcester Red Sox home opener looms, hopefully we're fully coming out of COVID. But I want to thank Bank Hometown and you, Rob, and the board for your support of the chamber, during that process. Both in terms of your commitment, but also some of the resources to help us, serve our members during that. So I want to thank both of you and Bank Hometown.
Well, thank you. Glad to help. What you guys do is amazing, and we'll do whatever we can to help in the future.
Great.
Definitely.
Stay with us. We've got a couple more segments left in this edition of Chamber Exchange.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.
Being associated with the Railers and being a part has been awesome, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think my students' initial reactions is my favorite part. Their eyes get really wide and they're in awe.
And then you have the excitement of hockey, and you have that anticipation in the air. You know, the crowd getting into it. It's fun.
Worcester, a city with heart, history, and promise. A hub of innovation in life sciences, education, and healthcare. Home to multi-generational families, first-generation citizens, and next-generation baseball and hockey greats. Home to great parks, world-class museums, theaters, and restaurants. Worcester, the place to visit, to invest, and to call home.